Well, in this video I'm going to be restoring this case that came with my Hamilton 974 pocket watch that I restored. Now this is a gold-filled case made by the Wadsworth Case Company, and it's warranted for 20 years. And what that means is for 20 years it was guaranteed for the gold not to wear out on the case. Well, I guess that warranty worked, because here it is 2023 and the gold's still on that case and it still looks good. So to get started, first we need to remove the crown. I take my pliers and I hold the crown stem with my pliers. Then we untwist our crown. That keeps the stem from moving, so we can unscrew the crown. Now that we got our crown off, next thing is we need to remove that stem. Now that stem has a sleeve that has these 4 slots in it, and we need a special tool for that. And this weird looking tool, looks like a ninja star, is used to remove that sleeve. Now what you have to do is you have to find the right tip that fits into your sleeve so you can unscrew it to take your winding stem out. So we're going to select the right one that fits right into our sleeve and unscrew it to remove our stem. Now this tool is also used to adjust the depth of a winding stem, especially on a hunter case where it is critical for pushing the little springs that open the case. And maybe I'll do a video on that one day to show how this tool is used for that. Well, okay, now we have our sleeve unscrewed. Now we can take our sleeve and our winding stem out, and we're going to set that aside for future cleaning. Okay, now I'm going to focus on this case, and I'm going to try to remove some of these dents that are on the back of the case. I don't know if I can get them all out, but what I'm going to use is this wooden dowel and a leather sand-filled bag. And the dowel is you can buy them on eBay or Amazon. They're called Dappers. And I haven't really did this a whole lot, but I'm going to try and get some of these dents out. So what you do is just put a little bit of pressure on it and push down on it and rub back and forth on the dents and try to just work those dents out. You don't press real hard or you'll distort the metal, and the case won't close good if you distort it. So you just push down with firm pressure and just rub back and forth and check your work and go slow and just see how you do. I don't know how well it's going to take the dents out, but we'll see at the end. Well, as I'm checking my work, it looks like it took some of the dents out, especially in the middle part. But there's that one dent up at the top that just doesn't want to come out of it, the 12 o'clock. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to damage it any by pressing too hard on it. So now it's time. I'm going to put it in my ultrasonic cleaner. I'm going to run it for about 15 minutes. And I just use some soapy water and run it and see if it can get all that old grease and grime that's built up on the case off. Well, it came out looking nice and clean and shiny. The ultrasonic cleaner works pretty good at cleaning the case. Well, next I'm going to clean that winding stem and sleeve in some cleaning solution and put it in an ultrasonic cleaner. That came out looking pretty clean. Well, next I'm going to tighten the bow on this case. It's loose, and I don't want to take a chance of it coming off and damaging the watch while I'm carrying it. So I made a video on how to tighten the bow on a watch and how to use that tool, so you can just check out my channel and see how to use that. Now this is the polish I like to use on my cases, but you have to be really careful with it. It's got some abrasives in it, and this is also paste wax that I use on after I've polished it to help seal it so it doesn't oxidize anymore. So what causes that oxidation? Well, it's the exposure of the metal to atmospheric moisture and oxygen, and those two combined cause you to have oxidation on your metal. So we just put a little dab of that paste on there and gently polish it. Now, hand polishing is very gentle and non-intrusive, so that's why we use our hand polishing. If you use a buffer wheel, you take a chance of buffing all the gold off of your watch case, and we don't want to do that. Well, I've just about got this case polished up and looking good and getting all that oxidation off, and now it's time to apply that Renaissance paste wax. Now this wax does a really good job of sealing the finish on this metal, and it keeps that oxidation from ever building back up on it. And it's even used by the British museums and other museums around the world for preserving and protecting antique metal, antique leathers, and all kinds of other things, ivory. And it's really good stuff. I use it a lot. Now, if you like to learn more about pocket watches, you like working on pocket watches, subscribe to my channel. I've got quite a few videos on different things, and if you would, hit that like button. Well, this case is polishing up really nice. It's turning out really good. Yeah, a lot better than I thought it would. Well, next thing we're going to do is work on the winding stem. I'm going to take some of this stem grease and apply it to the stem to reduce any friction. Let's take my little oiler and put a little bit of that grease on it and apply it to the stem, and then I'll slide the sleeve over the top of the stem. Wow, this is about like trying to thread a needle, but I'll get it. Well, now it's time to put that winding stem and that sleeve back into the case. And again, I'm going to take that tool that I used to screw it back in. I found this tool on eBay. This is one of the tools that you do see a lot of, so and they're fairly inexpensive. Now I'm going to place the crown back on the stem and screw it back on. So now it's time to put the movement in the case. So I just slide it in on the front, and then I'll close the front cover to help hold that movement in. Now we put our two case screws that hold the movement in. Now I believe this is the original case to this watch, which is kind of unusual because the case is usually worn out and they recase the movements. But this one seems to be the same case that came with the watch. One thing that makes me think that this is original case is these case screws. Every time you tighten them down, they leave scratches on the case and little indentions. And this case doesn't have any other scratches on it, telling me that other movements have been put into it, because different movements have different locations for the case screwed. And also I did the research on this type of case, and it was manufactured around the same year that this watch was manufactured, and the Wadsworth watch company was selling these cases to different watch movement manufacturers. And Hamilton Watch Company was a large purchaser of these Wadsworth cases. I have several Hamiltons that have the Wadsworth cases. Now I got some new hands for this watch because the old ones were just too rusted up from that green crystal corroding them. Now I bought these off of eBay from a fellow that I always get my hands from. He is excellent source of hands, and I'll put a link down below to his eBay site. He has all kind of American style hands for any American watch, and I highly recommend him. I also believe that he also refinishes hands, so if you have some special type of hands on your watch that are hard to find, you can contact him and send them to him, and he'll re-blue them for you. Now I just take my hands and line them up, my hour hand with the 3 o'clock and my minute hand with the 12 o'clock, and gently press down with that tool that I'm using, the hand pusher. Now I'm going to check my work. I'm going to make sure the hands aren't rubbing against each other when I turn the crown and set the time. Everything looks like it's doing pretty good. So next thing I'm going to do is put my second hand on. Just gently lay it down with my tweezers and push down. They usually go on pretty easy. So now I'm going to put in a new crystal. You remember from the first video, the green crystal, the watch killer. That's what this one had in it, and it was corroding the hands and doing other damage. So I got this White's crystal. That's who I use for my crystals, and I'll put a link to his eBay site down at the bottom too. So we just take the type of cement that I use and just put a bead of it around the outer rim of the bezel. Then we'll take our crystal and press it in and hold it down, and it'll set up in about 20 minutes. Now I made a video on how to measure and how to install a crystal on a pocket watch, so check out my channel and you can find it there. Well, here's the finished watch. It's got brand new hands, a brand new crystal. I cleaned and oiled the movement. I polished the case. I think it turned out really nice. I can't wait to carry this watch. It was a long journey to get there, but here it is. I think Mr. Bassett, who sold this watch out of his jewelry store in Hartford, Connecticut in 1909, would be happy with the way it turned out. Now I'll put a link to all the videos that I mentioned at the end of this one.